When I landed my first good high-ticket sales role, my life completely changed. And that one role has now led to me making thousands of dollars per day in my early 20s. And I've also helped over 100 other young guys with no previous experience to get into good sales roles that's changed their lives completely. So in this video, I explain to you exactly what I would have done if I started over from zero right now. No experience, no connections, no skill sets. Exactly what I would have done to go from zero to landing a good role. Not just any role, but landing a good high-ticket remote sales role as quickly as humanly possible. Because for me, with the experience that I have and like the knowledge I have right now, there's a lot of mistakes I would have been able to avoid if I would have done this all over again from zero. I see a lot of guys, maybe you're watching this video right now, that are struggling. They don't know what they're doing. They're making one very fundamental mistake when it comes to landing good high-ticket sales roles. And that's why they stay stuck forever. You send out like all this outreach on Instagram, you get zero replies, and you're just like wondering why is no one replying, getting interviews, getting told no. And like I used to do that shit. Like I used to send out outreach for a long time, didn't get any responses whatsoever. I showed up to interviews, did get told that I was not a good fit for the role, got told that I should look for other roles and I should just like keep trying with someone else. Like I've been in that cycle myself for some time. You know, I made a lot of mistakes over the last couple of years of being in high-ticket sales. And I've also found stuff that actually works after a lot of pain, trial, error, you know? So in this video is when I give you what actually worked, so you can hopefully like skip the last 3 years that I've had to go through pain, trial, error to learn this, and just get success way, way faster for yourself. So first thing you need to understand is that why do most people struggle to land high-ticket sales roles? Like right now, there's massive demand, like influencers, online course sellers, agencies, like all these companies that you'll be working for in high-ticket sales. Massive demand. They need sales reps big time right now. The e-learning industry, which is the space that we're all in high-ticket sales, is growing very, very quickly right now. Like I get messages all day long from different companies that want me to place sales reps in their business. And that's the thing, is like there's massive demand, but these companies have been burned by hiring shitty people, by hiring people that don't have experience, or hiring people that are not actually that hungry, you know, that they hire the wrong people. And because of that, this is getting harder for sure. It's definitely getting harder as a beginner to land good high-ticket sales roles, but that doesn't mean it's not possible. And the reason why you haven't been able to make it happen, and why I used to struggle with it, it's very simple. I realized this eventually because in the beginning when I was trying to get into the space, I was sending out a couple of outreaches, showing up, I got a couple of interviews, showed up these interviews, didn't get the role, I did some outreach, got no replies. And because I was operating from this old version of myself, I was looking at it like I'm trying to get into high-ticket sales, I'm trying to test out this industry. That's why I was stuck, simply because of how I was viewing stuff. Because manifestation is a very, very real thing. It applies massively to high-ticket sales. And the biggest reason why you haven't been able to see success in this space is because you're probably approaching it from this perspective of like, I'm trying this out, which is making you weak. To be honest, it's making you weak in your outreach. You know, you do a couple of outreach, you don't get any responses, and you're like, okay, this isn't for me. You show up to interview, you don't land the first role, and you're like, yeah, this isn't for me. That's it. Sales isn't my thing. I should do something else. I used to have these thoughts when I came into this industry. You know, the way that I fixed this, the way that I saw quick success, and we was able to land a role and go from 0 to 10K in 3 months in that role, was by understanding you can only get externally what's already yours internally. I landed a role quickly and I saw quick success, and I would do the exact same thing over again if I started right now, because I was already the version of myself internally that I needed to beat this success. So what I mean by this is simply by, if I were to start over right now, what I would have done, I would have sat down with myself, getting clear on what is the version of me that's already making 10K a month in high-ticket sales. What do they look like? How do they make decisions? How do they speak? What are the daily actions that they take every single day? And I would step in and align myself with a new frequency of myself right now. This is the first thing that I would have done. Because this is going to separate you from everyone else. Because everyone else is going to show up to an interview with a company, or they do a bit of outreach, try it out for a bit, you know? They don't get any responses, they give up. They show up to interview and they talk from this perspective of like, hey man, give me a chance, I'm super hungry, please give me this role. And the business owner is not going to trust you whatsoever. You have to understand, like the business owners, the people that you're trying to get hired by in this industry, they want to hire someone that they truly buy into, that they believe in, you know? Like that's really what all this is about. Think about almost like in the stock market, you know, you're trying to get someone to buy into you at the low point here, that you're going to have this big peak down the road. That is what you're trying to do when you get into high-ticket sales. You cannot do this from the perspective of like, hey man, I'm trying to get into this. You need to show up with this confidence, like I'm committed to this path. I am in high-ticket sales. I'm doing this. You don't lie to people. You don't say that you have experience that you lack. Definitely not. I wouldn't do that whatsoever. but you speak from that certainty. You speak with that hunger, that drive, that commitment that only someone who's already been successful would speak with. This is like a very simple thing you can do right now, but it has massive impact. Because when I showed up at my first couple of interviews, I was on that interview with people that had way more experience than I had. When I landed my first good role, people had like 10, 20 years of experience. I was there as a 19-year-old with no previous experience, and I was super nervous. I felt super scared because I didn't know what I was doing. But I simply just talked this certainty because I had already mentally stepped into the version of myself and made it. For me, like, I already achieved 10K month high ticket sales. It was already like my normal. It wasn't something that was outside of me. I was already there. And because of this, I showed up to the interview with so much more conviction, so much more confidence. And that energy, this is what the business owner told me as well after I got hired for the first role, the first good role that I got. He told me, it's like, well, the reason why I hired you because I saw potential in you. I saw that drive in your eyes, and that's why I hired you. Simply because of that. And I'll tell you now, because I hire people at this point that have less experience, just simply because of the fact that I buy into the energy. I like who they are as a person. That matters so much. And this is why the step number one, or the first thing I would have done, is do the internal work. Do the actual manifestation. It's not just some like a woo-woo thing. This actually works. You're clear on what does the version of yourself look like that's already successful. And you move like them exactly right now. What does a daily basis actually look like? How many outreach are they doing every single day? How are they showing up in their intro videos? When you're sending out like a personalized video to a business, how do they make those videos? How do they show up in these videos? How do they speak? What type of conviction do they have in their voice? All these different things. How do they carry themselves? What type of environments do they hang out with? How do they spend their money? Do they invest in themselves? Like all these different things. Ask yourself these questions. And if you just align yourself with this frequency, that is all you need to do. It doesn't necessarily come down to you working harder. Like I wouldn't be working harder than other people. I'll be working smarter because I will just align myself to the new frequency and move like them instead of chasing the goal. This is like such a cheat code. I can't stress this enough because this would allow me to separate myself from pretty much everyone else by just moving like the version of myself, speaking like them, would make people buy into me more, and I would have way higher likelihood of actually sticking to my actions as well. Because again, if I'm moving like the version of myself, I'm thinking and aligning myself to the new frequency that's already successful, it's not going to be like I'm going to do a couple of outreaches or be in a couple of interviews, get some no's or get left on red, and then give up. That wouldn't make sense. The only version who's going to give up after a couple of tries is the old frequency. Again, this is why you step into the new one, because when you step into the new one, the actions and like who you are as a person is normal to you. Doing 10, 20, 30 personalized outreach every single day is normal to you. Showing up to interview with confidence and some are going to say no, that's normal to you. Because you just know that it's already yours internally, which makes it obvious for you to just keep taking the actions. Okay, this interview told me no right now. Doesn't matter, I'm going to keep doing the actions either way because I know that there's a version of me that's already become successful, that's already has this as the reality. Hopefully this makes sense, but like, this is how you actually stick to the plan. Because I see a lot of guys try to get into the space, they get their first no and they give up. They tell themselves like, I'm not meant to do this. I had those thoughts. And when you do this, when you step into the new version of yourself, you're gonna have emotions and logical reasons that your brain tries to like trick you. You know, you're fighting against your own mind, telling you like, yeah, you should give up, you're not meant to do this, you're getting all these reactions because you suck. Do not listen to that. Like aligning yourself with the new frequency comes with having negative emotions and having fear, nerves. It's all your old version of yourself that's coming up and trying to keep you safe. You need to learn to not listen to that. If you can fully step into the new version of yourself without, regardless of like how you feel, regardless if you feel scared or nervous, whatever, if you can fully step into the new one, regardless of those feelings, you are gonna win. Like there's no way you can fail if you move exactly, make decisions exactly like the version of yourself you're trying to become for long enough. You cannot fail. The only reason why you will fail, why you will struggle, is if you fall back into the old one. You feel scared, you feel nervous, you feel uncertain, and then you're like, shit, I shouldn't do this. Your brain tricks you like, yeah, you're not meant to do sales, and then you quit because of that. That's the only reason why you will fail. If you simply align yourself to the new one, no matter how that feels like to you, no matter the emotions that come up, you're gonna win. Simple as that. That's exactly what I would have done. Now, when it comes to specifically like how I would find these companies to go work for, the thing that I will leverage right now that works big time is you want to find unique ways of getting in contact with companies. You don't want to be competing against like thousands of other people. For example, like if you're reaching out to Iman Gadzhi, Alex Ramosi to work on their sales teams, you're going to be competing against a massive amount of people. So what you want to do instead is you want to find more niched influencers that have a bit of a smaller following and like niched interests. So let's say you're interested in some like specific diet or some specific type of dating coach or someone that you followed for a long time. Reach out to either people that you know through your own network. If you have an ease in for like a coaching program that you've been in, some private community, or is like someone that you followed for a long time that's a bit more niched, use those connections. That's super, super, super key. Like I would go into programs that I've joined in the past, mentorships that I've been in, communities that I've been in, private like school groups, etc. Go in there and see what people are running high ticket programs. Use these connections. You might even know people that run an agency or run a coaching program. Use those connections because that gives you an easier into these companies. That's exactly what I would have done. I would have gone into like the coaching programs that I've been in, the people that I know, and like ask around in my network who has high ticket sales roles that I can get into. And I would also DM these more niche people. I would find YouTube channels, and also on Instagram, I would find people that I resonate with, you know, like this influencer that I already follow, and reach out to them, telling them that I've been following you for this amount of time, I like this, and make personalized effort. Because here's the second thing is like most people do not realize is that your competition, like what most people are doing right now when it comes to doing outreach to different influencers, doing the bare fucking minimum. They're sending out like, hey man, are you looking for an appointment setter? I'm an appointment setter, I want to work with you. If you just take the time to actually figure out who is this influencer, take the time to find a couple of videos, find out some personal info about them. You find their YouTube, find their Instagram, find their Facebook, find their LinkedIn, their email. You contact them from different areas, from different directions, and you actually talk directly to them. Boom, you stand out. Simple as that. Most people aren't going to do this work, which is why I would have done this. I would actually take the effort to find out more about these people, follow up with them. Follow up is a big thing. You're showing that you're actually good at appointment setting and closing if you're following up in the outreach. And then you contact them from different areas, from different directions. So it makes it impossible for them to not see you. You like their posts, you comment on their posts. That is exactly the strategy, what I would have done specifically to find these people. I'll go on YouTube, Instagram, find different people, search for like these niche interests that I have personally, or just look at people that I already follow. Go to coaching programs, mentorships, communities that I'm already in, and get into good companies from that way as well. And I would just step in and do these daily non-negotiables. I will set out daily actions that are in accordance with what the version of myself that's already successful will be doing, which high ticket sales, all it comes down to, it's very simple. Skill set, number one, get good at the skill, learn sales. Number two is get in front of companies and do that in a better way, show up in a more confident and in a more attractive way for these companies. That's all. If you do those two things on a daily basis and you do a lot of volume, you're not gonna fail. And this becomes a hell of a lot easier when you've stepped into the version of yourself that's already successful, because that version of yourself is doing these two things every single day, no matter what. No matter if they're struggling with their skill set and they're struggling to have good calls and they're doing a bunch of role playing and the calls still are shit, and there's a lot of things that you still need to improve on, or if they're getting no's to all of their outreach, that person still is gonna like take brutal amount of action, like an insane amount of volume of action, because they truly believe that version of themselves who's able to make it is out there. It wouldn't make sense to quit if you're so confident, you're so delusional there's other version of you that's made it. That's exactly what I did back in the day when I got into this industry first off, and what I would have done right now if I started over to separate myself from everyone else, because I would take in more action. I would show up in a completely different way from everyone else to my interviews, and I would also reach out to these more niche people using my own advantages, and I would show up in a way that's going to allow me to stand out from everyone else, and therefore land these killer roles that most people are struggling to land right now. Hopefully this makes sense. If you want my help to get into this industry and just like speed up this entire journey, you want to get coached, trained by me one-on-one to actually learn the skill set, get connections from my private network into good companies to go work for, and get my help to actually perform these companies as well, you can apply for my mentorship. Book a call down below, see if you're a good fit, see if you qualify to work together with me, if I can help you out. If you have any questions, DM on Instagram. Hopefully this stuff makes sense. Actually take action on this stuff.